Welcome back, everybody. Make a quick video here. Today's topic is sleep paralysis and shadow people. They kind of correlate together, and I'm just gonna tell you some of the experience that I was told by a couple of my friends. I'm not gonna go in great detail or too much on this subject, just because, in case. Because like I said, I just found out that some people never experienced this or even heard of these two topics. So, and if this doesn't exist in your reality, I'm gonna try not to explain in detail, so that way it doesn't come into reality for you. But nevertheless, we're going to start with sleep paralysis and what it really is, and then I'm going to tell you some experiences. Now, for those who don't know, sleep paralysis is a state during waking up or falling asleep in which a person is aware but unable to move or speak. During an episode, one may hallucinate, hear, feel, or see things that are not there, which often results in fear. Episodes generally last less than a couple of minutes. So, sleep paralysis happens because you have a mechanism when you go to sleep that one of your muscles shuts off your body, so that when you're dreaming, you don't sleepwalk or move. And sometimes something wakes you up, or you wake up before your body has time to catch up, and this results in sleep paralysis. And I have experienced this myself, and it is chilling. As I think in my lifetime, experienced it at least 3 times that I recall, and every time it's like the definition. It's pretty fearful, but and you always have this sense of a presence nearby too, and it just constant fear. But I never actually see anything in the corner of my eye. Now, everyone that I've talked to that have experienced this, they always say they see something in the corner of their eye or peripherals, and they swear that it's there, looking at them, watching them. Now, I believe that they do see it, but I don't see it, but I feel it. So that is the definition of sleep paralysis. Now, this thing that they see, I'll tell you what they see. And what they see is, so the thing that they see is shadow figures or shadow people. Now, I personally have not experienced or seen these shadow figures or shadow people, but people that I trust, I do believe that they do see, and it's, they constantly see it every so often, or consistently every so often. And then I'll share with you 1 or 2 incidents that 2 different individuals has told me. They told me many things, but I'm just going to tell you 1 incident each one had, and where it was and all that, but not in great detail. But I'm just going to tell you from male and female experience. But let's figure out what this is. I did not know they had this information on here, so it's my first time reading it, so bear with me here, just for the heck of it here, huh? Alright, they are claimed to be viewed as unrecognizable, fleeting shadows out of the corner of an observer. See, do you know what? I This is what I'm talking about. This is my first time reading this, but I know that this thing that people see sometimes, like chasing them or whatever it is a shadow. Anyways, um, fleeting shadows out of the corner of an observer's eye for just a few seconds. I've heard stories where they weren't human shaped at all, more like a ball or a fluttering blanket, and occasionally some, as I have personally experienced, witnessed these masses straight on. No need for peripheral vision here. We've concluded these figures have been around for a very long time and appear to share consistent familiarity. They are the most reported type of ghost sightings, yet opinions about them vary among paranormal investigators. Some report them as menacing, scary, creepy, and harboring evil intent. Some feel they are the true form of a ghost. Some claim they are time travelers and or interdimensional beings on a visit to our current time and place. Yeah, they're more like an international, interdimensional being, and um, I'm pretty sure they live in the fourth or fifth dimension. Anyways, many have also arrived at a theory that these flickers of darkness amongst the shadows are on a personal mission to watch over and guide us along life's path, a dark form of guardian angel. However, those who take a different slant feel shadow people are a result of psychological and psychological conditions. Okay, sleep deprivation or paralysis, illusions, hallucinations, the beginning of dementia, drug or alcohol use, or the side effects of medication. Let me tell you, these people, the male and female, I'm gonna tell you this one incident. They told me many, but one that I remember they told me they don't use drugs and they don't even smoke. But anyways, Jason Afute, author of Darkness Walks, The Shadow People Among Us, I haven't seen this movie yet, commented, many shadow people, in fact, I didn't even know this movie existed, but now I do. I'm going to check it out later. Many shadow people encounters do seem to mirror ghost encounters and are the most common type of shadow person's encounters. A blacker than night human shaped shadow that people see walking through their bedroom, hallway, living room. This is so true. Um, these shadow people are most benign, usually not taking notice of those who observe them. Absolutely. Okay. Bear with me, guys. Let's just finish this here. It's 2 a.m. and you're at that moment in the investigation, sitting in the dark with the body and mind tired from being in constant state of intense observation. Your mind has kicked into a melancholy, malac, melancholy, excuse me for that, guys, mode of autopilot. Nothing has happened for hours. You continue to ask questions to an empty room, trying to draw in a response that will be captured on a digital audio recorder. Your camera purrs away on the tripod. You sit and watch. The silent, the silence is almost deafening, and then it happens. Out of the corner of your eye, you catch movement, darker than the already black of the room, solid and slinking off to your left. You quickly turn your head and your heart begins to race. You see nothing. You accelerate into a state of high alert, fighting to focus your eyes into a small section of the room. Then it happens again. Only this time you are looking straight as a dark mass moves out of the corner, slides along the wall, and disappears in the opposite corner. This is exactly the description that um, the male and female I'm gonna tell you about described. So this is pretty much so you guys know this is pretty much so you guys get a sense here now of what's going on with the experience. Your heart is really racing now. Adrenaline is surging like a runaway train. The brain takes charge, trying to rationalize what you have just experienced. Was it a product of tired eyes, a hanging eyelash, floaters skimming across the surface of the cornea, a passing car's headlight flickering into the room, creating an optical illusion, or was it the real deal, shadow people? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so for the female, she used to live alone in an apartment, and she used to always tell me like, so it's like a one bedroom apartment, and she always sense or hear noises, and so she always closed she closed her room door, and outside her room door is a hallway which goes to the bathroom, and so she's like decided, obviously her lights are on too, because she sleep with the lamp on because of all the incidents before, but one of the incidents where um, she hears something out her door in the apartment. She opens the door and she glanced quickly a shadow, a figure, and then she went back in and just closed the door and then just dealt with that. And I'm just gonna leave that at that. But I do believe, and that was just one incident. Um, so I believe that person. And the male one I know, he lived with his girl, which is his baby mama, and his mother-in-law. Um, they're Hispanic and he's Caucasian, and he used to tell me these. Well, I'll just say one incident. So um, well, with the female, I forgot to mention I've been to that apartment, but with the male, I have not been to his place. But he told me that one time. So so imagine, okay, so he sleeps in the basement. So just picture the basement, right? And so the basement have like a couple of rooms, and there's a hallway, and then there's that open space in the basement, like a living room. So someone had balloons. I think it was someone's birthday, but they had a balloon um, upstairs. Okay, it wasn't downstairs in the basement; it was upstairs. And so so one night he opened the door out of his room in the basement to go upstairs. But before he walked to the hallway to go upstairs, he noticed that the balloon was right outside his door, and he's like, "Oh hell no!" And he knew that this balloon came all the way across the hall, all the way down the stairs and across the hall from upstairs, and he was pissed. So he's like, "Oh no!" So he took the balloon. Okay, so the balloon was what with the helium and with the string, right? Like it has a string to something to hold it to keep it from flying, right? So it's like a balloon with a string. So it's just like you can imagine that, right? So he grabbed it by the string and then pulled the balloon. It was just one balloon. He pulled the balloon and then he was gonna like uh put it back upstairs. But on the way up upstairs, he noticed that there was like a little shadow figure in the corner of his eye. And in fact, no, he saw it clear as day, he told me. And he freaked out. And then he just dropped the balloon and then let go. And this, I believe this was in the daytime, actually. Um, but don't quote me on that. But I think it was in the daytime. Anyway, so he saw it clear as day, the shadow figure. He said, like, clearly, he's like, I won't tell you the details. I don't want to scare you guys. But anyways, believe me, this is what happened. And then he ran back in uh, to his room. But anyways, so I do know and I do believe these individuals, and they have experienced this right on, heads on, and I believe and I know they do. And it's not just one incident, and especially the male. He and his family has experienced a lot of these incidents. So plus, before I heard these stories from these two individuals, um, I've heard of the shadow people from back then. There was a Science Channel speaking of dimensions and all that, and I remember how they explained there was these beings that exist, either the fourth or fifth dimension. I can't remember, but I can't find that anywhere right now. Um, but that's the first time I heard about it, and I'm like, wow, really? The whole being scared, and he brought up the incident where how you're when you're at night and you're like scared of under your bed because see, like when I was young, I don't know why I was scared, but I was scared of like something was gonna grab my leg. Well, those are the shadow people. But I was scared when I was little about them, but I never really experienced them or seen them. The closest thing I came to experiencing was the sleep paralysis. So just just a little quick story on the sleep paralysis and shadow people, and I didn't want to go into too much details and too much of it in depth, just so that in case if this doesn't exist and if in your experience in your reality, I don't want it to really exist in your reality. But I figure since I did mention in my previous video that I was gonna talk about these things, I was gonna talk more in depth. I was gonna have some uh, people make some videos and send it to me and put on here for them to kind of like describe their experience in detail as best, because they can do that best because they experienced it. But I figure for now we're just gonna leave it at that. And so now you guys know that's about sleep paralysis and shadow people if you never heard of it. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hooded Dragons out.